And welcome back to War Thunder. Today I want to talk about the bomber economy changes, and for your pleasure I'm playing the Chinese TU4 in 2 matches and I want to compare the results. The first battle is the very first battle that I played in it, and that was before the economy change, and then I want you to compare the results to the second match, the latest match that I played in it, where I more or less did the same in the match, but I had a different income, and it was played after the economy changes. So the mandatory rant here is filled with arguments, and again you wonder what I'm talking about, if I'm just ranting for the ranting's sake. No, this is a massive issue that makes the situation actively worse, despite initially it looks like Gaijin has finally listened to the player base and they have significantly reduced the bomber repair costs, and that is a good part about the change, right? Because the astronomical 55,000 silver line of repair costs on the TU4s is just outstandingly high. And now it is still very high, but significantly less so, with only, quote-unquote, only 30,000 silver line repair costs. But the bad part about the bomber economy change that affects also all bombers across the board, of every battle rating, of every nation, every tier, including your premium bombers that you paid with your real money, is that the income has dropped by 2/3. 2/3 less income is massive, and I highly want you to have a look at your recent incomes and to compare them to what you did prior to this. So I think that the bombers have raised constantly in their repair costs because their income was pretty high, especially when going for the objectives like the bombing points and also nuking the base. You get a massive reward, or you got a massive reward. The reward is still okay, but is nowhere near where it was prior to the change. Now, let me take you back a few years in time to some other changes in the past that Gaijin attempted to make in order to fix this. I really began my War Thunder career in War Thunder, and I loved to rush bases in arcade with my year 2s, with my Dotuan 17s, etc. It was very lucrative, it was very quick, and it was simple to do if you really put a little bit of effort into it. And so Gaijin saw the issue that a lot of the arcade games were over in just, I don't know, a few minutes, and they introduced the bombing points. The bomber pilots happily took it, and at first glance it was a change to solving the problem, right? Because now it took a few minutes more to bomb the bases and then continue your way to the main base. But with bombers with high bomb loads, back in the days, the year 2 with its 5-ton bomb payload was by far the highest. Yeah, they still could do the job. So that forced Gaijin to introduce those bombing points, and bombers happily took it, and for fighters it again at first glance was a nice change. But then a few more after that, Gaijin introduced the original Soviet TU4, and it was practically untouchable. You couldn't intercept it before it dropped the payload. It was able to do this, and 2/3 up to the entirety of the Soviet team consisted of TU4s, and they were just ruining Air RB single-handedly. They were killing the mode at their respective battle rating. So the first match ends in a loss, but I got 3 kills and I dropped 4.65 tons of TNT worth of bombs on enemy bombing points, resulting in 104,000 civilians and 12,000 research points, and I had some small boosters, 15 and 10% for RP and civil lines respectively, and with 4,700 score points, that was really good. And you could see, even on a loss, even despite the high repair costs, when fulfilling the objective, I made a plus, right? So let's have a look at the second match, and let's begin with featuring Franklin Roosevelt in his F2 Sabre. Yeah, he specifically wanted me to feature him, in a gameplay because something happened to him. Uh, yeah, he flies over a bombing point and there lands a tiny sweet 1.5 ton bomb, nuking him out of the sky. I got the kill, but it doesn't crash because he's in a saber. So the screwed up bomber damage model is a story of its own. But the rest of the match again shows what I can do with a bomber and that I am pretty experienced in them, and I have a very comparable results in terms of kills and bomb TNT dropped on enemy bombing points. So now let's continue. After the disaster of the TU4, after Gaijin has let rain the TU4 for an entire patch, they screwed over all the bombers because they removed from all of them the holographic third-person aim cross, and they limited the maximum amount of bombers per team to only 4. This little limitation was then removed when yeah, Gaijin sold the German premium Ju 288, which is a story of its own. So you can see that whenever Gaijin tries to touch something, it screws over all the things, whereas just a tiny portion of the bombers are a problem. Planes like the Tu-4, both Chinese and Soviet, the B-29, the Me-264, the Heinkel 177, and many more, they just have excessive bomb loads capable of deciding the outcome of a game and scoring a total victory by bombing the bombing points and the base at the end of the day, which the majority of bombers in War Thunder cannot do, right? And this is my problem. This is my problem because the sad planes, they are a problem, just a handful. And in order trying to get those in line and make them relatively unattractive, they screw over the rest of the bomber population. For example, your premium bombers like your Japanese B-17, the German Ju 288, BV-238, the premium Wellington, the Soviet B-25, and many more planes are affected by this. They also drop by 2/3 of the income, despite you having paid for them. And think about your not so attractive bombers that you want to spade with playing, right? Like your Wellingtons, your Heinkel 111s, your Kia 67s, your B-25s that don't have excessive bomb loads. A lot of those sad planes don't have enough bomb load to even kill a single objective, and you don't get all that much reward for it. A Kia 67, you know, with a single 800 kilogram bomb, or at maximum 2 500 kilogram bombs, what he's going to do, how is he affecting the outcome of the match? But you're screwing him over, you're robbing him of 2/3 of the original income. That is just bad design. So Gaijin should go back to the drawing board. They should reverse the changes, going back to the old model, and just leave the bombers as they are until they actually come up with a good solution. This is not solving any of the problems. This is only screwing the player base, even the paying customers. It again is working with a quick Excel spreadsheet change, and it is again avoiding the long overdue rework of RRB. I have suggested many changes in the past, and I'm actually sick and tired to go through all the changes again and again. So now, fulfilling the objectives, it doesn't get rewarded. So here, the income is 120,000 civilians for a win, which gives you 2/3 more, right? And I didn't die. I also got 3 kills, and I also dropped 4.6 tons worth of TNT on bombing points. So it's a very comparable result. And I did get not that much more, despite winning, despite a victory giving you 67% more. The RP gain though, that is down to a win, which gives you 120 extra RP, a talisman, and a 200% RP booster, right? So the RP, I can work around with them, and again I even have a higher score with 5,600, but I got just marginally more for a victory compared to a loss for more or less the same. I think that this is a perfect example and shows how misleading those changes are. And yes, I had to look through the Excel spreadsheets more than a few seconds to figure it out. So again, Gaijin, please go back to the old system and really do a proper rework. A rework that works, because this is worse than the carrier rework in World of Warships. This is worse in the artillery rework in World of Tanks. This is just punishing the player base. And again, there are many people that just purchase premium bombers, and you're screwing them over. And I am just sick and tired of nerfing premiums after they have been released, essentially. And you know, this is just adding up or summing up the situation. Those 3 fighters were escorted by me in the TU4. Planes like the TU4, the B-29, the Me-264 and the Heinkel 177 are breaking the meta. They should never have been introduced at their respective battle ratings. They just have too much payload, and Gaijin needs to really rework RRB to come up with a proper solution. And that is me being done with it. So that is now my suggestion. I hope you agree. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this, and as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please don't forget to let me know your opinion in the comment section down below, and please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.